March 15th, 2024, 2:47 in the afternoon. That's when my daughter Michelle walked into this living room, looked me straight in the eye, and said, "Daddy, I found you a nice place." The smell of cardboard and packing tape still lingers in the air around these boxes. 43 years I've lived in this house. 43 years of Christmas mornings, birthday parties, and Sunday dinners. Michelle thinks she's about to sell it all. She has no idea what's coming. The thing about trust is that it cuts both ways. For 20 years, I trusted my daughter with everything. My bank account, my medical decisions, my daily medication routine. When her mother died 5 years ago, I signed that power of attorney because I thought family meant something. I thought blood was thicker than greed. I was wrong about a lot of things, but I wasn't wrong about protecting what mattered most. See, there's something Michelle doesn't know about this house, something I never told her, something that's about to change everything. Let me start from the beginning, because the beginning is where I made my first mistake. Michelle was always the smart one. Straight A's through high school, full scholarship to Georgia State, graduated with honors in business administration. When she moved back to Atlanta after college, I was proud. When she got married to David, I was happy. When they had my granddaughter Sophia, I thought I was blessed. For 15 years, we had Sunday dinners at this very table. Michelle would bring her famous peach cobbler. David would help me fix whatever was broken around the house. And little Sophia would run through these rooms like they were her own playground. Those were good years. Simple years. I should have known they wouldn't last. The first sign of trouble came 3 years ago when David lost his job at the manufacturing plant. Budget cuts, they said. 20-year employee, just like that. Michelle tried to hide the stress, but I could see it in her eyes every Sunday. The way she'd count the bills twice. The way she'd snap at Sophia over little things. David started drinking more. Not drunk drinking, just more. A beer with lunch became 2. 2 became 3. By Christmas that year, he was nursing a bottle of Jack Daniels every night while watching ESPN. I offered to help. "Baby," I said to Michelle, "you know I got some money saved up. Whatever you need." She looked at me with those eyes. The same eyes she had when she was 7 and broke my grandmother's vase, and said, "Daddy, we're fine. We don't take handouts." Pride. That's what her mother used to call it when Michelle was stubborn. Pride will kill you faster than any disease. I watched my daughter struggle for 18 months. Watched her marriage crack like old paint in the Georgia heat. David started working odd jobs. Construction work that paid cash under the table. Michelle took a second job at the Walmart on Campbellton Road, working nights after her regular job at the insurance office. My granddaughter, Sophia, sweet girl, started acting out at school, fighting with other kids. Her grades dropped from A's to C's. They thought I didn't notice, but I notice everything. That's when Michelle started visiting more often. Not for Sunday dinner, mind you. Quick visits. Tuesday afternoon, Thursday evening. Always with questions. "Daddy, how are you feeling? Daddy, are you taking your blood pressure pills? Daddy, maybe you should think about getting some help around here." The way she said help made my skin crawl. I've been taking care of myself for 76 years. Served 2 tours in Vietnam. Worked 38 years at the Ford plant in Hapeville. Raised a daughter as a single father after my wife died. But somehow, because I turned 76, I needed help. I don't know who needs to hear this. But if you're still here, maybe you understand what I'm talking about. Subscribe if you want to hear the rest. The visits became more frequent, more invasive. Michelle started going through my mail, organizing my medicine cabinet, asking about my bank statements. Just making sure everything's in order, Daddy. That's what she'd say while shuffling through papers on my kitchen table like she owned the place. Then came the doctor's appointments. Daddy, I made you an appointment with Dr. Richardson, just a checkup. But it wasn't just a checkup. Michelle sat in that room with me and Dr. Richardson, taking notes like she was my secretary, asking about my mental capacity, asking about my ability to live independently. Dr. Richardson, bless his soul, told her what I told him. Your father is sharp as a tack and healthy as a horse. He'll outlive us both. But that wasn't what Michelle wanted to hear. So she found another doctor, then another one. Doctor shopping, they call it. Looking for someone who would say what she needed them to say. The third doctor, some young woman fresh out of medical school who barely looked at me, suggested assisted living might be beneficial for someone of your father's age. Michelle lit up like a Christmas tree. That night she brought brochures, glossy photos of smiling old people playing checkers and eating institutional food. Look at this place, Daddy. Magnolia Heights. They have activities, medical staff on site, 3 meals a day. You'd love it. I looked at those brochures and felt something die inside me. Not my body, my trust. That's when I knew what was really happening. It wasn't about my health. It wasn't about my safety. It was about this house. This 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in a neighborhood that had gentrified around me like rising floodwater. A house that my grandfather built with his own hands in 1952. A house that was worth $30,000 when I inherited it, and is now worth $450,000, according to Zillow. Michelle thought she was being subtle, but subtlety was never her strong suit. She started mentioning the house value in casual conversation. Daddy, did you know that Johnson's next door sold for $500,000? Daddy, this neighborhood is really booming. You're sitting on a gold mine. Gold mine. That's exactly how she saw it. Not as my home. Not as the place where her mother took her last breath, or where Sophia learned to ride a bike in the backyard, or where we buried 3 dogs under the old oak tree. A gold mine. The breaking point came 6 weeks ago. Michelle showed up with David and Sophia on a Thursday evening. Not a Sunday, not a planned visit, just showed up. Sophia hugged me tight and whispered, "I'm sorry, Grandpa." Then she started crying. That's when I knew. David couldn't look me in the eye. Michelle sat me down in this very chair and pulled out papers. Legal papers. "Daddy," she said in that voice people use when they're about to ruin your life, "we think it's time." The papers made it official. Magnolia Heights Assisted Living. Monthly cost, $4,800. To be paid from the proceeds of selling my house. All legal and proper thanks to that power of attorney I signed 5 years ago when I thought family meant something. I could have fought it, could have lawyered up, contested the decision, made a scene. But I'm 76 years old. And the thing about being 76 is that you pick your battles carefully. So I let her think she won. I signed their papers. I toured their facility. I even let them pack up my belongings into these boxes you see around this room. Michelle was so proud of herself, so efficient. She hired movers, scheduled the house inspection, even had a realtor come out to do a market evaluation. $450,000, just like Zillow said. Maybe more if they painted and put in new floors. But here's what Michelle doesn't know. Here's what she never bothered to ask about in all her organizing and planning and efficiency. Someone once told me there are rules that change after 60. One of them says that sacrifice without boundaries isn't love, it's self-destruction. I wish I'd known that 30 years ago. If you want to know what those rules are, it's in the description. 22 years ago, when my wife was dying of cancer, she made me promise something. "James," she said, holding my hand in that hospital bed at Grady Memorial, "don't let them take this house. Whatever happens, don't let them take what your grandfather built." I promised her I wouldn't, and I kept that promise in a way that Michelle never saw coming. In 2002, while my wife was going through chemotherapy, I did something that seemed small at the time. I added a name to the deed. Not Michelle's name, another name. Someone I trusted more than anyone else in this world. Someone who would never see this house as a gold mine. My granddaughter, Sophia. She was only 3 years old at the time, but I added her name as a joint owner with right of survivorship. The deed sits in a safe deposit box at SunTrust Bank on Metropolitan Parkway, the same bank where I've done business for 40 years. The same bank that Michelle has never bothered to visit with me, despite having access to all my accounts. You see, Michelle knows about the checking account, the savings account, even the small investment portfolio. What she doesn't know is about the safe deposit box. What she doesn't know is that this house, this gold mine she's planning to sell, belongs to Sophia just as much as it belongs to me. Legally, officially, permanently. The beautiful thing about a joint deed with right of survivorship is that it's ironclad. Even with power of attorney, Michelle can't sell what isn't entirely mine. And in about 3 hours, when the realtor shows up for the final walkthrough before listing, she's going to learn that lesson the hard way. Sophia knows. I told her last week when she came to visit alone. Sweet girl, now 25 years old, working as a nurse at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. She cried when I explained what her mother was trying to do. Not because she was angry, but because she was heartbroken. "Grandpa," she said, "you can't give up your house. This is your home." That's when I showed her the deed. That's when I explained about the safe deposit box. That's when I told her about the promise I made to her grandmother. Sophia doesn't want to sell this house any more than I do. She wants to keep it in the family where it belongs. She wants her children to learn to ride bikes in the same backyard where she did. She wants to bring her future husband to the same Sunday dinner table where her parents met. Most importantly, she wants me to stay exactly where I am. The plan is simple. When the realtor arrives with Michelle and David in tow, expecting to list a $450,000 property, they're going to discover that they can't. Sophia will be here with the deed and her identification. The realtor will explain what Michelle should have known all along. You can't sell what you don't fully own. I can already picture Michelle's face. The confusion first, then the anger, then the desperate scrambling to figure out how this happened, how her careful planning fell apart, how the old man outsmarted her. But the truth is, I didn't outsmart anyone. I just protected what needed protecting. I just kept a promise to my wife. I just made sure that family means something more than dollar signs. The irony is delicious. Michelle spent 2 years orchestrating my move to assisted living so she could sell this house and solve her financial problems. What she's about to discover is that the only way this house gets sold is if Sophia agrees to it. And Sophia has made it very clear that the only thing she wants to sell is the assisted living contract. Everything I learned about patience, about sacrifice, about trust, it's all in something called the 60-year rule. 9 rules that reverse after 60. I wish someone had given me this 20 years ago. The link is right below this video. I'm not moving to Magnolia Heights. I'm staying right here in the house my grandfather built, surrounded by boxes that will soon be unpacked. Michelle can keep her power of attorney. She can keep her legal papers. She can even keep her realtor. But she can't have my home. Sophia is driving over here right now with the deed in her purse and love in her heart. When Michelle arrives with the realtor, my granddaughter will be sitting in that same chair where Michelle signed those assisted living papers, and she'll explain how things are really going to work. The house stays in the family. I stay in the house. And Michelle learns that the old man she tried to put away is sharper than she gave him credit for. Some people might say I'm being harsh. Some people might say I should forgive and forget. But after 76 years on this earth, I've learned that respect isn't given, it's earned. And trust, once broken, takes more than apologies to repair. My daughter wanted to treat me like a problem to be solved, instead of a father to be honored. Now she gets to live with the consequences. The funny thing about family is that it's supposed to protect the vulnerable, not exploit them. It's supposed to preserve legacies, not liquidate them. It's supposed to honor the previous generation, not warehouse them. Michelle forgot those lessons somewhere between her financial troubles and her efficient planning. But Sophia remembers, and that's why the deed has her name on it. The boxes around this room will stay packed for exactly as long as it takes Michelle to realize she's been outmaneuvered. Then I'll unpack them slowly, carefully, putting each item back where it belongs. The family photos will go back on the mantle. The dishes will go back in the kitchen cabinets. The memories will go back where they've always been, alive in every corner of this house. And when Sophia brings her children to visit their great-grandfather, they'll run through these same rooms that have echoed with family laughter for 70 years. They'll eat Sunday dinner at the same table. They'll learn the same lessons about family and trust and keeping your word. Most importantly, they'll learn that home isn't just a place you live. It's a place you protect. It's a place you preserve. It's a place you pass down to people who understand its value beyond dollars and cents. Michelle thought she was being smart. She thought she was being practical. She thought she was solving a problem. What she was really doing was teaching me the most important lesson of my 76 years. Blood may be thicker than water, but love is thicker than greed. And sometimes, the people who share your DNA are the ones you need to protect yourself from the most. The clock on my mantle says 5:30. Michelle and the realtor should be here any minute. Sophia texted me 5 minutes ago. She's pulling into the driveway with the deed and a lawyer friend of hers, just in case things get complicated. I suspect they will. But I'm ready. I've been ready for 22 years, ever since I made a promise to my dying wife to never let them take what her father-in-law built with his own hands. Some promises are worth keeping, no matter what it costs. Some battles are worth fighting, even when you're 76. Some homes are worth protecting, even from the people who should protect them. Today, Michelle learns that her father still has fight left in him. Today, she learns that love and wisdom aren't the same thing. Today, she learns that the second deed changes everything. I can hear car doors slamming outside. Showtime.